Today, we are ranking every single playstyle, and we're gonna focus on the extracurricular, the Playstyle Plus. And I'd like to say off rip, if you want us to make a video on the best playstyle combinations by position, drop a like, please and thank you. We will run that up ASAP. Beautiful people, if you're brand spanking new, we have Broken, Rank 1, Foot Champs Debatable in the Pine. Those are somewhat self-explanatory. Let's get right into all the above. All right, let's get acrobatic. And you see this highlighted all day, every day with the likes of Holland because he's good in the air. He's got that body type. There are advantages. There are certain animations, but it is not a major factor, generally speaking. Does the playstyle change the gameplay dramatically enough? Getting acrobatic, I'd say, is in the debate. It's not a negative, but it's not a high priority. Aerial, disgusting, just filth. And as the game has shifted, as it's changed, as it's adjusted, as it's pivoted, as we've had patches and the mandatory action to have a big body type, a brawly striker, a classic number 9, aerial, both offensively and defensively, you need that. If I could put it on every defender, I would do so. I need folks climbing, motivated. They just jump differently. Your percentages are on the up and up. Anticipate, we're going back to back, up top. And unlike aerial, from the release, anticipate front runner. And still in that position. Never a negative, good in the midfield, good on the defensive side. You're gonna overtake possession with ease. Block, I'm not upset, but I'm not yelling from the rafters. This Playstyle Plus in particular gets additional benefits when it comes to having those large and in charge, the wide shoulders, the crazy V-taper, those body types that just don't quit. But I have it in Foot Champs. It's good for the weekend. Might not be your first selection on the defensive side, but as a reoccurring theme, it is most definitely a helper. I have an early conflict. We now have Bruiser following Block. I prefer Bruiser to Block. I don't want Bruiser in rank 1, so Block is going down to the debate, and Bruiser is staying in Foot Champs. Same premise, same concept, big body type, taking up space. I really prefer Bruiser if you're in a 50-50 or chasing after some sort of through ball. The defender will put his body between the attacking player and the ball and just shove him out of the way. It's a no call, and it's noticeable. If you want that crispy setup, everything all-inclusive in the office space, Elgato, it's linked down below. If you have questions, I'll give you the answers. Dead ball might be a little dead to me, and it's less about scoring the direct goals. Free kicks are going to be free kicks, but when it comes to corner kicks or set piece routines, it's advantages. And we know how important corners are. And for that reason, I'm going to put this into Foot Champs. But when I'm choosing my players and I'm going through the lineups and who's going to get minutes, if you got one player that has it, not going to knock it. We're making highlights and they have returned. Long range, the additional trajectory, a little more curvature. I want this in rank 1, but I am leaning towards a potential Broken initiative once we get there. If you did not know, now you know. We're doing a review and there's gonna be some movements at the end of the video. Don't go anywhere. First touch, let them cook if you're whipping in passes. In traffic, I've enjoyed some of those bennies, but it's going into the debate. There's so many play styles I would prefer for both midfielders and attackers. I can't see first touch coming into play for defenders, respectfully. Flair, I've always been on board with this. Give me a little bit of that extra flavor. There are some unique animations. I stand by that. And the flare passes or the finishes, it does not matter for the end game approach of more wins or better goals or more assists. It's just giving you a little more flavorful, a little more spice. It's everything nice. It give you a highlight piece, and we love those, but I think it has to go to the Pine. Pinged pass. As we've had updates and patches, all of the passing playstyles improved dramatically. If you'd like to read through playstyle and playstyle pluses around passing, you can screenshot right here, but on record, they matter a lot. For pinged pass, if you play narrow, you're looking for those drop-offs, you want the speed of passing on the up and up, it's going to be important. And for that reason, we're going rank 1. Intercept, which sounds fantastic on paper, but not saying the numbers are fraudulent or the playstyle doesn't deliver. Still hefty in Foot Champs. Definitely receiving 2 thumbs up. However, intercept could make a bigger difference. There could be a larger margin. I'll just leave that here. Speaking of Jockey, and I don't know if this is a hot take, I love this play style. Maybe because I'm a manual defender. I go for the goods. And over multiple years, I've been teaching and preaching manual movement, sprint, jockey, sprint. And with this playstyle, I notice it. It is a guarantee that your movement and your animation will be quicker. It will be more precise if you jockey, if you manually defend. We're going back to back. Long ball has came full rotation. Beginning of the game, I don't think players had figured out how to abuse this, how to hit the lofted through balls, how to release these deeper runs, maybe how to trigger some of those runs, just in general, plus a couple patches. Now we're seeing it all day at the pro level, and what's truly capable of long ball abuse or long ball appreciation or long ball motivation. Long throw, not a lot to break down. That's going to be a no siree. If anything, it could have its own category, but definitely in the pine. Incisive pass might have to join broken. And I noticed this even more so against me. I defend perfectly. The through ball finds space. The through ball finds the attacking player, finds the runner. It's slotting between the defenders or the midfielders, and I don't think it's my opposition. I believe it's the play style, and it happens time and time again. I love this graphic. You've got the ram for power header. That's on brand. It was cleverly done. If you combine power header with aerial and some physicality, you got a problem on your hands. And that's why I talked about, I might have teased it, but if you want that video with the proper combinations per position, I'll do that for you. But as it stands, I'd still put it as a debatable, but my disclaimer would be if you get the right mix-up of attributes and characteristics, this could add some seasoning to the final entree. Press proven. Not trying to downplay, take it off the table. I'll keep it above the pine, but it's not moving the needle. Quick step is good money, and most of the dribbling, I'm not gonna complain. I only have superlatives. Throw a bunch of pace and some good numbers with some of the agility and the acceleration and a couple key play styles, and you've got yourself something funky down the wings. Separation, you're creating margin. Rapid, we're gonna cook. Highly regarded, highly rated. You definitely notice that burst. Innovating and colonizing. Rapid might be for you. Relentless, I'm in a bit of a mixed bag because it has to be said. The position matters immensely for the value that you will receive for relentless. If we're talking about fullbacks, love it, necessary, major helper, even box-to-box midfielders. When you get into some of the attackers, if you're gonna play a winger for 90 minutes, relentless is a big plus. But if you're using super subs, you're making changes and shifts, I'm not sure that this is gonna come into the equation for ultimate team success. And for center back, sometimes I'm playing guys, at least throughout the year, that didn't even have high stamina, and I felt like it didn't matter. Slide tackle doesn't do much for me. Likely the worst of the defensive play styles. If you time it well, cool. But I don't go up against people using that many slide tackles. Generally speaking, there's a time, there's a place. But at the end of the day, if I got someone who's 6'4" and feeling aggressive, he's gonna make some contact. Technical should not surprise you. Broken, staying broken. How this playstyle can change the game and the longevity we've had with just the R1 dribble through the midfield in the final third since the release. Players that could be slightly clunky if you add in technical, their movement and their explosion. And again, the way that they could take space in the midfield or in that final third, you can turn a defender and you will concede from properly done R1 dribbling with the technical bonus. Tiki-taka, we're keeping the theme of all the passing play styles being an asset. It's not my favorite of the list, but if you're playing a lot of ground passing, first time passing, pass and move, as the name suggests, Tiki-taka will give you a little bit of that oomph, that razzle and that dazzle, that Barcelona-esque. Trickster. And even if you don't use the exclusive skills around Trickster, the side to side and some of the dribbling animations are noticeably different. And I always think back to the 86 overall Balotelli. And yes, he had 99 dribbling, but with Trickster, not just the flicks and the tricks, but The way that he had a stride and could cut inside, and even with his body type at 6'2" or 6'3", the stats didn't always make sense, and I believe it played a factor. It made a difference, and again, it was noticeable. There was an essence to the item, and it was the only Playstyle Plus that Balotelli had. Travella, what are we talking about? And since the early portion of the game, the first few months, this would have undoubtedly been broken. And in fact, I'm going to put out a tweet, present day, if you prefer finesse shot or if you would prefer Travella. I have a feeling the finesse is going to get lean. We will throw that on screen. But even with the nerfing and the adjustments, Travella should still be rank 1. The way you can pass with it, you can score goals inside the box, outside the box. Maybe some of the crossing or switching of the pitch is the most underrated. You're likely to only see that regularly used at the higher levels, but it's a noticeable observation. And based on my belief that finesse shot has conquered, has overtaken for Travella, it's got to go up. Broken indeed, my friends. Whipped pass, and it works so effectively at all levels. And what I mean by that is if you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced player, your crossing and your validity and accuracy and just extra whippage, it gets better. It improves. Your gameplay and your options and your variables, your circumstances, your permutations, everything is on the up and up when you have whipped pass. I'll say this, earlier this year, I think it was better, maybe more overpowered, maybe less players had it, but I want it. Especially with my wingers, especially with my fullbacks. Power shot, I like the mix-up. I'm gonna lean this into rank 1. You can score unique goals, you can create moments, and you have the ability to cancel out of the power shot. With the Playstyle Plus, the speed of execution is so much quicker. So from inside the box, outside the box, it adds 2 different types of scenarios, from the long-range efforts and being able to speed those up, to also the faster animation into a cancellation. Value has been added. There's a return of investment. Last to the outfield Playstyle Plus additions, we have chip shot, increases the percentage of converting and maybe some animation around the chip, but it's not that important. This game doesn't operate around a need or even a high desire for chip shot conversion. So there we are. And before we get into a review, let's talk about the goalkeeper playstyles. And as always, I'm not gonna sit here and BS with you. These are measurable. Goalkeepers don't have the Playstyle Plus additions, and I can't warrant the success of Petr Cech or Donnarumma or Schmeichel or Casillas based around their playstyles. That said, you have far throw, which doesn't move the needle. Footwork, you can make an argument for some of these feet-saving animations. Cross-claimer, I've never been that big of a believer. Rush out, similar feels. And maybe there's something there with far reach or quick reflexes, but I don't think we really know. Shall we review? I don't know that I'm getting out of the pine, but because I put Trickster in debatable, I'm itching for Flair to potentially make that movement. And I might just divvy up the odds a little bit. There are different animations in the way that you slice and dice. I believe with both Trickster and Flair, giving you a little added assortment. It's not big, it's not major. If you don't use skill moves or put yourself into some of these risky scenarios, it might not matter to you. And once we get into the debate, I'm not sure that we're gonna have heavy movements. The way that people abuse some of the crossing and the knockdowns, if you can toss power header on a player with aerial on and off the record, it's sort of problematic. Maybe to an extent that it's got to be weekend league approved. So that's what I've done. This category, I think we have to move a couple foot champs. Who's going up is the question. Relentless has done a lot for yours truly. Maybe out of the GP, general principle of the year, give the nod of success. Does Quick Step go up? Even Bruiser, which I like a lot. The dribbling, it matters. And the way that you can take space, attack space, find yourself beating the back line in any moment, even a half second that you get some sort of additional degree, you take it. You need it because the AI defending, the automated recovery speed, it's tough to deal with. And when it comes to broken, I'll hear your cases, I'll hear your arguments, we can go back and forth. But at the end of the day, playstyles have changed FC forever. Assuming EA keeps this going as they're pushing forward, the stats are relevant, but the way that they pair with certain playstyles can shift and will change the dynamic of the player, and in turn, your squad. So let me know, stir it up in the comments, and we have a lot more content coming out ASAP.